Hey, and welcome back to the Fully Booked Photographer podcast. And I'm here with Janine, Jonathan, and Brad. And we're going to talk to you today about the difference between soccer and rugby and American football. Oh, no, that was the last episode. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about the difference between your marketing and sales system. And I thought I'd start this with a little story. In 2019, I became a story brand guide. So anyone who hasn't seen story brand with Donald Miller, well worth checking out. But he tells this story, of marketing and sales, and sales is like, you see this gorgeous woman across the road and you say, oh my gosh, I'm in love already, right? And you cross the road and you go on your bended knee and you say, will you marry me? What's she likely to do? You'll probably get clobbered across the head with her handbag, right? If she's wearing a handbag. If not, you'll probably get a kick where you don't want to get a kick. But, a lot of photographers we see try and jump straight to that proposal, right? Rather than, marketing is like you're courting. Do you have courting in America, Janine?
We have dating.
Dating? What, do you call it courting or dating, Brad, over there?
Courting.
Courting? Oh. Okay.
Is like courting not like a 1920s thing?
I know, it's like the 1800s. Like
Very
Jane Austen
British.
time frame.
No, you always court before you make the proposal.
I'm pretty sure modern Ireland and UK call it dating as well.
Thank you.
No, we don't. Even Brad, I know
you're
that.
not modern Ireland, so.
Yeah, but me and Ronan obviously have more culture. We're more cultured gentlemen. So we say courting.
Okay.
Like, I know when you go outside the M25 that you do go back in time. For those of you who visited London, you're sort of in the modern era there, and then you go outside the M25 and the clock slowly goes backwards in time. Used to be the case when you visited Ireland, but now we are the modern democracy of Europe. But we won't debate that today.
Anyways, I think we need to move this along.
So to go back to talk about the courting and the proposal. So you should court for a while before you ask somebody to marry you, right? So that could last, the courting could be a month or it could be years, right? Whatever that is, right? It's important to realize then when she does say yes to you, right? Or he does say yes to you, is it Valentine's? What day are you allowed, the woman's allowed to ask
Lady Hawkins.
Okay.
Lady Hawkins Day.
We call it something else, but it's a different day, but same principle. So whatever day anyway you agree to tie the knot, right? And you're going to get married. Even though you're together and you're a partnership, right? You're still individual people, right? So you're still different. And if you can just think about that when you think about your sales and marketing, that you want to realize that they're together, but they're separate individual processes in your business. So I think we should deep dive into that, Janine, because I think you have a great story to talk about, the distinction between marketing and sales. And their unique roles in driving the revenue in your business.
Yeah, so Ronan, one of my original mentors, it's funny you told a story like that, but one of my original mentors, and it had to be about 12 years ago, I was mentored by a man named Bill Sorensen. And this man was amazing. He was an amazing photographer, first of all, but he understood what he called at the time promotional photography. And he ran his studios in the 70s and 80s. There was no internet. There was no email. There was barely, you had yellow pages, but there was nothing. So he would have stands in grocery stores, Sam's Club. He would be at the local banks. He would be everywhere, local festivals, local art places, where he could set up a gallery of his images and talk to people and get them to fill out forms to sign up for a free session at his studio, right? And so that's how he promoted his studio, with promotional marketing. And it was everybody came in on a free session, and then they came in and he sold them their portrait. So he was courting them, as you will, I guess, Ronan. He was dating them when he would be at these in-person events, talking with them, schmoozing with them. If you met Bill, you would buy from him. You would book a session with him and fly from Ireland to Seattle or Portland, I think it was Portland, to be with this man, because you just wanted to be in his presence, right? And so he would get that know, like, and trust, that dating part done at an event in 5 minutes. And you're like, I got to book with this man. And so that's what he taught us a lot of when I took his classes and when he was my mentor, was this is that part of your business. The selling is once they come in. So your marketing gets them in front of your camera. Your selling is what happens after you take the photograph. And so they have to coexist. I mean, clearly you can't sell pictures you haven't taken, right? You're not creating artwork if there's nobody in front of your camera. So you have to get them into your studio. And that's what marketing is. That's that whole mix. That's that dating, that courting that you're talking about. Your marketing. And now with the internet, we're so lucky. We don't have to necessarily go do all those live in-person events, although a lot of people still do. And it's still a very viable and valuable mix in your marketing mix. But you can do the same thing online, and you can meet people through your ads. You can meet people through emails that you send. There's lots of different ways you can meet people online with an offer to market to them, to get them on the phone so you can, or via text message or via message, all the different ways you can communicate one-on-one, earn that conversation to get them in front of your camera. That's the marketing. Once you've created their portraits, now you got to sell them, and that's selling. So the two do coexist, but one has to come before the other.
So who disagrees with Janine? I sort of a little bit disagree with her, but I sort of agree with her.
I like it. Are we going to have a row, Ronan? Are we going to have a row?
Well, here's the vision I have in my head, Janine, right? So I have this vision of this married couple holding hands, right? So they're separate, but they're together. They're holding hands, right? And you sort of have played that the sale starts, right, when they're in front of your camera.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the marketing gets them there. Your selling is going to happen. Like we had a podcast on the client journey, right, Ronan? Where we talk about all the different goals and all the different functions of each step along the client journey. And you're going to sprinkle things throughout the entire way. But your selling process is different than your marketing process. Your marketing process, and I think Brad's going to talk about this later, is the offer that you use to get them in. And then your initial phone call, you're going to do a little bit of pre-selling. You're going to do a little stage setting. You're going to do a little bit of, this is what your life is going to be with me, oh handsome one, right? If you're going to use the dating analogy. But once you photograph them, you are then going to sell the portraits to them.
Okay, so I'm sort of getting you, right? But what I'm trying to figure out is, so the couple are holding hands, right? But they're separate entities, right? But they're holding hands so they're together, right? So that's your marketing and sales process. So what part of this are they holding hands where they're together? And what part of this are they separate?
Brad, you're going to have to answer him on this one because Ronan's lost me.
You really like this analogy, don't you?
Yeah, he's really going this analogy strong. Brad, I'm giving this one to you.
And even if the analogy might not make the most sense, you know, we're gonna make it work.
You're the engaged person here, so you can take Ronan's analogy and go with it.
So in my opinion, Ronan, marketing starts whenever our clients first clock eyes on an offer, promotion, video, podcast that we run. This podcast is marketing to people who are unaware we exist. This is us welcoming you, our listener, into our world. That's marketing. Sales begin for me as a photographic studio the minute we speak to a customer over the phone, or even sometimes over Messenger. Not even sometimes, probably over Messenger as well. When communication begins, that's not just through a marketing channel. That's when sales start. So for me, they're intertwined, like in the middle of that process. So when they've seen our advert, they've clicked on it, they've seen a video that I run for the studio. They've engaged with that content, they're going through the funnel, and then that's where marketing and sales link, that they hold hands through the email nurturing we send out. I'm doing my best with this analogy. I'm helping you out, Roman. I hope you remember this. That's where they link and come together. And then sales begins when you speak to that client.
Right. So, Jonathan, it sounds like here that it's really important, right, to have a well-defined marketing and sales system to understand that they're separate, but they come together. What's your experience of that, or your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they have to be so clearly defined. I think with your hand-holding analogy, I'm not going to use that, but Brad kind of got there, and Janine got there in that the conversation, that first conversation you have with your lead, before you turn them into a booking is that hand-holding piece, right? It's that transition from your marketing to your sales process, because it's a journey. It relates back to our client journey. So the goal of our marketing is to make people aware we exist in the first place and to then earn that conversation. It's earning that chance to, move them into our sales system. So if you are not clear or you haven't defined your marketing and sales systems, you'll find yourself falling into traps such as selling before they're ready to be sold to. So we've seen photographers who have put up ads in their marketing and they're trying to sell like 4-figure packages before they even come in for the experience. And that typically, especially to people who don't know, like, and trust you, or to cold traffic as we would call it, isn't really going to work. So for us, you have to have a marketing system in place, makes people aware you exist, with a clear goal of guiding them to a path of having that conversation with you, so you can then book them in. Your sales process starts. You have your excitement nurturing before they come in for their sessions. They're super excited about the experience. They come in for their session. They're in front of your camera. That's right, isn't it? Front of the camera? Yeah, front of the camera.
They're not behind it.
Not behind it now. Hopefully not behind it anyway. That'd be kind of weird. They're in front of your camera. All of that is part of your sales process. So they're having this amazing experience, and Janine talked about the importance of having an amazing experience in the client journey episode. But they're having this amazing experience. They come in then either same day or another day for their design consultation or in-person sales session, whatever you call it. And that's where they're buying, right? So that's part of your sales system. But you can't, it's like almost impossible to sell, that, make that 2K order, that 5K order, or even that 10K sale to people who don't even know, like, and trust you and haven't even had that experience with you yet. Most people, 99% of people don't automatically desire photography. They just don't. They don't automatically desire a family portrait or a first birthday or a boudoir session. Yes, there are the occasional ones who are aware of it, but 99% of the world don't just wake up desiring it. You have to help them realize that this is what they desire. That's what your marketing system helps you do, and your sales system does the rest.
So Janine, this is less important for you because you're in Tampa, Florida, so there's no cold traffic, right?
Well, we might have cold traffic, but it still comes to us at 85 degrees during the winter and 95 degrees during the summer. So yeah, you're cute.
Wow.
I know he's all about
bad.
the analogies today. So here, I'm going to take it a step further then with what Jonathan was saying, with them being intertwined. And a lot of my business is repeat, right? I have my clients come back to me over and over and over again. That only happens because I continue to market to them after the sale. And so all of my clients are continually being marketed to. It's not a done process. And I think, Ronan, this is where you're kind of talking about that they're intertwined. You never stop dating your wife, right? I'm sure you and Susan go out for dates all the time, and you still love her and you still compliment her and you still do all these amazing things, which is why you've had this amazing marriage for how many years? I don't want to get it wrong. Tell me. Make Susan proud. How many years?
32.
32 years. You've had this amazing marriage because I'm sure you still court her on a continual basis and still make her feel loved and appreciated. And you have to do this with your clients too. Otherwise, guess what? They drop off. And so you constantly have to be nurturing your existing clients if you expect to have repeats or get referrals. And so you're always marketing what's coming next to your existing client base to get them into the sales process all over again. So you're either marketing to cold traffic or you're marketing to your existing client base. But either way, you're still marketing them to get them into the studio so that you can have portraits to create and sell.
So Brad, sometimes those sales and marketing aren't holding hands, right? They're divorced, right? Can you talk to us a little bit about this idea that some people get confused that there's a correlation between the offer, which is part of our marketing, right, and what the clients are going to be willing or will invest with you?
Yes, I can, Ronan. And before I really deep dive into that, I want to share something that really grinds my gears. Grinds my gears? Jesus. Grinds my gears. Wow. Sometimes I can't speak English.
What does that mean? Grind your gears? Does
Yeah,
that annoy you?
Yeah, it gets you annoyed, gets you frustrated.
Me angry, me the Hulk. Ah.
Yeah, that. Nailed it. and I get frustrated by this from a lot of our wonderful members because they've ran a fantastic ad campaign and they've generated dozens, sometimes hundreds of leads in a period of time. Could be a few weeks, month, quarter. They've done really great. And then they can't book any lead, any of those sessions. Or not, they can't book any, but they book fewer than they'd like. And then they blame the marketing. Marketing's not going to get any better. You've just run an ad campaign that's delivered you X amount per lead. Trying to get that cost per lead lower is a near impossibility. I've been running ads, Jonathan's the same, for near on a decade now. It's hard. It is very, very hard. If you're chasing cost per lead, you're going to lose. But the conversion metric, that's the key. And marketing is easier to blame than the sales process. It's easier to blame because it's just an ad. You can blame an ad because there's other things you can blame. You're targeting the wrong people. Those people weren't my clients anyway. You can't find clients who are going to spend $1,000, $4,000, £10,000 or dollars on Facebook for running ads. You're not going to find them. That's an easy excuse to say when in reality it's the sales process. It's how you're connecting with that client, how you're communicating with them, what your customer journey is, going back to our last podcast, and then getting them ultimately to book in with you and then to get a sale at the end.
All right, so I'm really curious. Is there a correlation then between this cold traffic that they don't have in Tampa and that sort of conclusion that the photographer is making that it's the lead, not my sales process? Is there a correlation there between their experiences?
No.
I think there might be. Can I disagree?
Okay, yeah, sure thing.
I think there might be. So here's the thing that's hitting me, right? And I'm wondering is if a photographer has been waiting for the phone to ring, right? And when it rings, it's a referral, right? So the lead is coming from a referral where someone has recommended them, right? Does my sales process need to be different for that client? Because my client who's referred this person to me, right, has done half the selling because they've told them how great I am as a photographer. They've told them about the amazing experience I've had. They've told them about what I invested with you, so I know the pricing. So there's no surprises, right? While if we're going to wait for referrals, we're going to be not really a fully booked photographer because, like even Janine, who is a master of driving referrals to her business, right, and gets so much of her business from referrals, she still needs to have a proactive marketing system that's generating those leads. So my question to you two guys who are running your studios, right, and are getting referrals and are getting cold traffic, does my sales process have to differ depending on whether I'm generating the lead myself or it's a referral? Because the lead I generate myself knows very little much about my business. As Jonathan said, we have to build know, like, and trust. While the person who's a referral, the person who referred them has done most of my selling job for me anyway.
Janine, I know you're itching. I can see it in your face.
I am itching because I just told the story to you, Ronan. If you assume that the person referring you did all of that work, that's a bad assumption. That's a bad assumption. Just because I might say, oh my gosh, Ronan, you have to go to Stand Plus Stand 2 Photography for Boudoir. They're amazing. I love them. They were perfect for me. That might be all I tell you. I'm not going to tell you how much I spent there. I'm not going to tell you what their pricing is. I'm just going to tell you you're going to love it. So I might have done, and somebody might, I'm just saying you can't assume that I would have done the sales job for you. Don't ever make that assumption. The one time I made that assumption, I almost lost my best client. Don't ever make that assumption that if you got a referral, that work has been done for you. You still need to market that person. You still need to ask all the same questions. You still need to get all that information. You still need to give them the information about your products and your price. Like all of the things that you would do to cold traffic, you still need to do with someone coming in warm. The only benefit is they already know who you are. You still got to verify that know, like, and trust. You still got to do all of the things that you would do. It just might be a little bit easier because they're coming to you because someone said that you're amazing and that they loved you and that you're their photographer. But you can't assume what they might have told them ever.
I think interesting point. There's kind of two different discussions. There's, do I treat my referrals different to my cold traffic? But your original question was like around the sense of we use offers in marketing to attract people. And you ask, doesn't matter what that offer price is in relation to how much that client will spend. Because a lot of photographers freak out when we tell them, yeah, you have to run an offer to basically in your marketing to attract people into your business, right? And that offer could be a free offer, or it could be like a $75 session fee. And they'll say things like, oh, no, I can't run a free offer. It will attract all the freebie seekers and they won't spend money with me. But some of our best members that's all they run. They run free offers for their high-end luxury family portraits, and their averages are $4,800 and $6,300. Their averages, right?
Oh, no. Luxury brands don't run free offers. They just don't do that. You're talking crap.
Well, I'll prove you wrong. Our clients will prove you wrong, more so. But yeah, we hear that all the time. Like, I can't run something for, like, Janine's first birthday offer is like $75 in her direct offer. And Janine, your average is well over $1,000, right? So it's important to note there's no correlation between what they come in on, the offer price, whether it's free or $50, $75, $99, and what they spend afterwards. Because one is part of your marketing system and one's part of your sales system. I think that's important to know because so many photographers don't fully grasp that concept and kind of freak out. And that's why we're trying to explain on this podcast, that there is a distinction between marketing and sales, even if you're holding hands.
And we're small service-based businesses. We can run free offers. We can run free offers far more successfully than most businesses because we can give part of our service away for free, that photographic experience, but then still get our maximum upsell on the back end of it. It's to everybody looking on the outside in on our industry, it's a complete no-brainer of how to run this as a business model. For us as photographers, we're too, like Jonathan said, we're too emotionally involved in fear, in the fear that running that offer is going to attract the wrong people. And ultimately, when you run offers like that, you're going to get a whole host of people apply. But it's why your sales process, because that's marketing. Marketing's ended when you've got those leads. Your sales process starts with how you communicate with those people. When you add them into your customer journey. And then, like what Jeanine was saying on our previous podcast, how you're going to deliver them their experience, and then that's going to matter what they purchase at the end. Not whether they fill out a lead and the lead form was for a free offer, or for a $75 offer, or for a $500 offer. The price doesn't matter.
So and just I was just playing devil's advocate there, Jonathan. But so we've seen with our members over and 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 over again, right, that there is no correlation between the offer and what a client will invest with you. So once you have a marketing system that earns as many conversations as possible with your ideal client, and you're able to qualify that you are right for your client. That comes first. You are right for your client, not that they are right for you. That's also a consideration, but you have to be right for your client first. That the sales system then is what takes a large percentage of those clients that you are in conversations with through, who make an investment with you at the end. I think that's what you guys are saying. So they're connected, but they're different. But how do I deal with the rejection piece, right? Because like I'm a photographer, I'm highly invested in the work that I do, and I've convinced myself, right, that I can't deal with that rejection. So instead, I'm going to say I have a luxury brand. I'm not going to run offers. And I'm going to find another way. Like, is there another way? Is there a way like to be a fully booked photographer and not run marketing and not realize that my marketing is divorced from my sales system, even though they're connected most of the time? But that this offer thing, like, I'm just struggling with that. Like, surely you don't see the big brands running offers and stuff. The big luxury brands, my brand, my photography business. Let's say I love Saks, right? So let's say that my photography business is the Saks of family photography, right? Surely you're not going to see in Saks special offers from those big brands.
Well, I mean, to put this in a car analogy, Ronan, a brand you do not see market or advertise, which is a luxury brand, Rolls-Royce. Now, the question you have to really ask yourself, are you the Rolls-Royce in the photographic industry? And the answer for 99.9% of people is no. No, it's near impossible to have that type of brand recognition and power that Rolls-Royce have. The reality is that the vast majority of photographers are like BMW or Audi or Mercedes, in which those car brands do run offers. They want to sell cars. They want to sell a particular volume of cars, and they are still a badge. They're cars that give you prestige and a good feeling, but they still run offers. So looking on that car analogy on the outside in, if brands like that can do it, so can you.
But they still do advertise, Brad, right? Those big brands, they mightn't run an offer, but I can't remember. I think we talked about this a couple of years ago. Was it Bentley or one of the car brands? And they advertised that you have to change the oil in this car every 10,000 miles, and it's $70,000 to get your oil changed. You remember that?
Yeah.
So their advertising was around that they were attracting the buyer who wanted people to know that when I'm driving this car, that everyone knows that I have to change the oil every 10,000 miles and that I have to pay $70,000 for an oil change. So I suppose the challenge would be if you can create a photography business where people think about what you do the same way, well, then maybe it's fine. Maybe you can be a luxury brand. But for the vast majority...
I was just going to say, what is the definition of a luxury brand? Sounds like a podcast episode to me.
No, it is, and we'll talk about it in great detail, but we're all great fans of Seth, aren't we? Seth Godin.
Yeah.
And Seth says his definition of a luxury brand is a luxury brand is only a luxury brand when it brings your clients status. So I definitely think we should talk about status in a future podcast and what defines status. And could we figure that out? Could we figure out how a photography studio could bring status and therefore a luxury brand, that people want to have your portraits on the wall to effectively, same as driving a Ferrari, right? So why they drive a Ferrari by you is for status. Everyone knows, oh my gosh, that person drives a Ferrari, so they must be really successful. So can photography do the same way? Can you create that status with a luxury brand? So I think that's a conversation for another day. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's a great podcast episode.
It is a great podcast episode.
Look at us doing work while doing work.
There we go.
Ideas for the future.
We call this double jobbing, don't we? Doing work while doing work. Or as Brad might say, work. All right.
I think you should summarize up, though, Ronan, what we discussed, because we went in a couple of different directions today. Yeah,
we did. So guys, the takeaway from this is, you've got to realize that your marketing and sales systems are connected, but they're different. And if you want to know more about this, just join us at thefullybookedphotographer.com. Visit the website, apply to join in our hive, and we can help you with this and bring you through the whole process. So on that note, until we talk about status and luxury brands again, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.
See you later.
Hasta la vista.
Bye, everyone.